Welcome back to the Rope Access channel. In this video, we'll be talking about the review of the Megawatt by Edelrid. Let's get into it. So for the last 2 months, I've been using the Megawatt quite regularly at work. I love it. It's a great device. It's small, it's compact, it's fairly lightweight. It's not the lightest, but it's not heavy at all. I like the fact that the handle locks back, and on the harness it doesn't snag anywhere. There's nothing of this stuff happening where it's snagged. When working and descending down, it has a really steep learning curve about where the right point is to get going, and it's very subtle. You cannot really pull like with a rig or an ID. You have to feel it a little bit, but because you're moving in the opposite direction like this, or even like this, it does give you a lot of control. And when washing the windows or doing descents while replacing windows, there's always like little ups and downs you're doing, and ascending back up in it is really light. There's in the can, it generates a different amount of friction than what we're used to, so it's very easy to pull up the rope when we're ascending into the rope. So I find it very intuitive the way the handle works, like operating it left-handed or right-handed like this. If you're holding something or you just end up with your hands in this position, it's easy to go like this. And if you end up with your hands in this position, it's easy to go like that. That's something I really like. All right, like we showed you in the first video of the introduction, if you want to put in the rope, you push in this button. Then it goes open once, then it locks here, and you have to push open again. And then it's similar to all the devices we know. This is your anchor point, and this is your little hand. Rope goes in, you lock it once, then it's still red, and red is dead, so we lock it one more time and it hooks behind this one. So now if I go sit down in it, rope stretch, here we go, like this. It works very similar to all the other devices. I have to hold the rope a little bit more than what I'm used to normally, and I just push the lever away from me and I can descend down controlled, or I could go with my other hand on the handle and go like this. If I panic, it just locks down and I stop. One of the features is that if I want to descend with one hand, that's possible. Expert use only, like all the usual, what do you call it? Don't try this at home, kids, things apply. You have to know what you're doing. There's a little bit more risk involved in it. So if I hold the rope and the handle at the same time, and if I push it back up, I can actually descend down very controlled and easily. So if I were to be removing some windows and I have like the long, I don't know the English words, like the lijsten you put onto the windows that click on, and you need to take them down a little bit, you can just hold them with one hand and just descend a little bit to hand it over to somebody. Something like that, you know? Right, and it just flips back up, so it has the panic function both ways. Works really nice. I'm gonna make my first long drops on the Edelrid Megawatt. I've used it in a training, in my reassessment, my own level 3 reassessment, but it's all like 10-meter drops. So I finally get to make a little bit of a longer drop and see what it feels like. I've got the GoPro on the helmet, so I'll take you along for the ride. Yep. All right, let's do it. Swan, ASAP on. Rope into the Megawatt. Taking up some slack. Over the edge. Alright. Let's see where we're going. Going down. Stand here. I'm gonna that's like what I like about this device. Now I can just easily go left-handed or right-handed. 2 points of contact. Change the ASAP, manage the ropes. That's one. So, longer rope drop. Let's see how this feels. Alright, it's easy drop, feels good. If you come down, and like with all the devices with panic function, like this part, it's always a hassle because there's no weight in the rope and it keeps getting into the panic function. You can press down on the cam here, like so, and just pull out the rope real easy. Push the button once, push the button twice. And what I found out, what I do is I actually use two hands, like 1, 2. It's almost one movement. 1, 2. Open, close. 1, 2. Put the rope in. All right, I wanted to talk about, we can use the Megawatt, of course, to lower stuff, casualties, whatever. I've got a 60 kilo bag hanging on this ladder right here, and I want to lower it. And like with the most common devices as well, if I use it upside down or in a rescue situation, we need extra friction. So what would that look like? I like the fact that it has, hang on. So I like the fact that the Megawatt is all like steel and at the hard wearing spots. So it doesn't really matter which way you put the rope, because it's always rubbing on something that's meant to be rubbed on. So I take the tail end of the rope, I clip it, for instance, in the anchor point, and it doesn't really matter if the rope goes like this, or like this, or even like this if you have the handle open, like so. It should be okay. So, but I'm gonna go this way, zoom out a little bit. And now it's fairly easy, and because the way this handle works, it's really easy to find your position, like lowering like this. It's a good position, but maybe it's different, and I actually want to just lower it, pulling down, which is really comfortable. So I can either go like this, levering down, or I can go levering up. And other devices, you're always bound by the up motion, but in this situation, it's actually easier to first go into the panic mode and then just lower down to the floor. And we have one more thing I was already cleaning up, so I'm holding the mic for now. You can actually put a screw in here, maybe this will work better, in here, to lock the device and make like a permanent set available for your crew. Rig to rescue kind of situations. And the nice part about little attention to detail, like in the handle, right here, there is the screw that fits in there. So if you want to set it up on the job, you always have the screw to lock it off so nobody can touch the rope and change your system, which is a really good little feature, I find. So overall, I've been really stoked on this device and I would use it any day. However, there's one thing with it that I'm not really sure about how to deal with it. For me personally, I would use this every single day. I have no issue with it for me, because I know myself. I have some experience. I've been doing this for a while. I know I will never do something on purpose that would put me in danger, right? So we know the safety feature. That's what we saw. I will overlay it right now. If I go like this and it locks into the panic function and back down, you can descend back down with the handle moving back up. But if you operate it and you hold the rope in the bottom really, really tight, you can actually lock the device in this position, and then you go down really fast. And it's like working with a rig and just opening the handle. The speed will build and you will fall down until your backup catches. And let's see if we can demonstrate how awesome it can be. But I find it pretty hard to get into that position. I don't want to lift him up again. All right, same test as before. Weight is in the bottom of the rope, 100 meters. And I will try to put it into the middle position again. Should be around here somewhere. Here we go, 3, 2, 1. That's pretty, what's that, 3 meters before the speed got high enough for the ASAP to look up. It was a minimal shock load. I mean, we have all made descents where we go too fast for the ASAP and it locked up. It's not a shocking speed or shock load, but it is a potential, a foreseeable misuse that we have to take into account when we use this device. So I would not give this to a completely inexperienced person. You need, same as with a rig, if you hold the handle open, you go down like mega quick. But it's something to pay attention to. All right, final thoughts on the Edelrid Megawatt. I was editing the video and the sun was shining. I have spent way too much time behind the computer. And I'm not gonna let him go through. It's on the video! So, second time recording this because we had so many distractions along the way. I don't know how this edit will work out, but anyway, final thoughts on the Megawatt. I was editing, the sun is shining, I have spent all day inside cooked up, so I took my boy out walking in the dunes where I live. The sea is right over that hill, but there's a little bit too much wind probably. So we're sticking to this side for now. Wind for the audio. So, Edelrid Megawatt. Like I said, let's work back from the video. So it has a foreseeable misuse. If you really work to get that lever in that 0 point, in that sweet spot, then the device keeps going. That said, I don't think it's a very big deal because I've tried it for 2 months to put it in there while working and I cannot do it easily. It's always a lot of work to really try to get it in. So it's a foreseeable misuse experience. Well, advanced users only, not real beginners.
Een splinter. Is er nu uit?
He had something in his foot. It has a little foreseeable misuse. You have to work on getting it there. I have not managed to do it by accident or by being lomp is the Dutch word. I don't know. By being I don't know the right word, but I have not managed by accident. I contacted Edelrid, sent them the video of my test, and they replied. They from the beginning they've been really good with our communication back and forth and helping me get this review done. They said they've been aware of the issue since the beginning of designing it. The mechanism is similar as the lorry and the eddy, and they've been out for 20 years or so. This is where I live. And that's why I love it here. So I'll sit on the bench. So they've been aware of the issue since the beginning. It's not an issue. It's just I think it's not an issue. I think it's what do you call it? It's because of the way this whole system works with the panic function both ways. That point does exist. It's been around for 20 years, similar in the lorry and the eddy. It might be too much wind. We'll see in the lorry and the eddy. There have never been any accidents or reports to Edelrid, made to Edelrid about that. Taking all that into account, they don't see an issue with it. You have to make your own decision about it. For me, I know I will be using it as long as I get to keep it, because it's a great device. I love it for a lot of reasons that I already mentioned. It's small. I like the way the handle stows away. I like the way you can use it both ways, left-handed, right-handed, and down from the panic function. I like the way how you can use it one-handed. I love the way when you're using it to lower stuff, or casualties or whatever, you can flip it into the emergency or the panic spot, and how you can lever it down. That makes it so much easier instead of getting an ID or a rig and you have to lever up, especially if it's heavy. So those are all features why I like the Megawatt. I hope this has provided you with some proper feedback as a review on the device. This is the first proper review I've done. Not proper, but expanded review of it. If you have any questions left, ask them in the comments. If that's 1 or 2 questions, I'll answer them in the comments. If it's bigger one, I'll make a part 2 of this review. I want to put in one disclosure. I contacted Edelrid about this. They were very approachable and they communicated really quickly. We had a good open line going. They sent me over the products, and I also got a harness, which was a surprise to try out. Of course, they sent like a t-shirt and a hoodie, which I love, by the way. And they will be sending me over a fuse and I forgot the name of the adjustable lanyard. They'll be sending that over as well. They send me the stuff, I test it out, I try it out, and if they want it back, they'll get it back. I don't need to keep it. I like the Megawatt though, but there is for me, I do not stand to gain anything financially or material wise. I don't care about the material. I have enough of that stuff, and I usually work with gear from companies I work for. In my opinion, this is an unbiased review. I got the information from the manufacturer, I did my tests, I showed you all the tests. So, if you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, head over to Patreon, become a patron. And the more we get all the numbers up, subscribers and the likes and the engagement and the patrons, the higher those things are, the better I am able to make reviews for you guys. Like Ryan says from How Not To, he's a legend. He says bigger numbers can do bigger videos. So subscribe, tell your friends, share it the world. Any more questions, leave them in the comments. See you in the next one. Stay connected.
Subscribe!
Subscribe! Peace out!